One timeout left.
This is like the light box. You could have gotten numbers, but just didn't.
You better hurry.
Oh, no.
No, this is
Game, no.
disaster in the making here. You're going to have to do something when it comes down to this play. Incomplete, and the game is over.
Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Game is over for Matt Eberflus.
Watching people blame Caleb was hilarious too. But I get that part, but at the same time, oh my God.
At the same time, your fail-safe is having the coach realize he's a rookie and the offense can't get set.
That's not even like that's like a plan. That's like you shouldn't even have to be a fail-safe. That should be just like the plan. Like you should just know.
Well, I'm saying, sure, Caleb could have some blame in it, but if you obviously see they're confused, it's easy.
Help him. He's drowning out there. You're not getting the play call in time. Anything.
They had like it didn't look like any sense of urgency from like 30 seconds on. You know, Caleb's out there like directing shit and freaking doing the YMCA and like.
This is the offensive version. It's the offensive version of the Hail Mary at the end of the Commanders game. Take the timeout, make sure the defense is set, calm it down, that sort of thing. It's just the same thing.
All you had to do was call something like anything like short over the middle, get a little bit closer. It's like the same thing as the end of the Packers game where they didn't just get a little bit closer to get the field goal. So
were you guys 100% sure that he was going to get fired after that happened?
No.
I was 100%.
I was pretty certain after I saw that he was gone though.
Yeah, but then there's this is just the Bears, dude. And like they even after the presser with Warren and Poles, they even said basically like we're an embarrassment to ourselves. Like we shouldn't have made him go out and do the press conference. Like how ridiculous. Oh, we were still meeting at that point when his press conference was scheduled, so we didn't know yet. Bro, how do you not know that? Like, how do you not know like this 5 weeks leading up to that if this, then this? If we have another absolute blunder, that's it. Like, that's it. We don't need to like go into tomorrow. We don't need to think about it on Friday. We just like, hey, Matt, listen, you know you fucked up, right? Okay, get out. Don't come back. Stay in Detroit. Enjoy some turkey. Maybe go across Canada. Get a hooker or something. Dude, it was. How are you not ready to make that call? No matter what, like everybody knows that's on the table, even before that game.
There's
no reason you should have had to wait until Friday morning, like. Especially after everything coming out, like if Jalen Johnson doesn't stick up for the team and all start going off on him and he doesn't leave the locker room with his tail between his legs, do Poles and Warren pull the trigger? Or like are they like, oh man, I guess that was the last straw. Okay, cool. If that's the last straw, then do it. Do it that night. Don't wait for it. Make the poor guy go out there and talk to the media for 9 minutes and then freaking have to go home and tell his wife and daughters like, hey, daddy got fired. And they're like, yeah, no shit. We could have told you that last night was going to happen. Like, come on, bro. Embarrassment of a franchise still. McCaskey's just like, they're going to botch this head coaching search.
That had George's stench all over it, the firing. It's hilarious. Like fans on Twitter predicted exactly what happened. And it's like you knew they're not going to talk because it's Thanksgiving night and they're going to put it off to the next morning. And they're going to have to get on their hands and knees to get George to approve it. And George isn't going to want to move the press conference because if he does that, then everyone would know what is happening. Like, no shit, but you don't let it transpire like that.
No. I mean, like you've always been a nice guy, George, like for sure. Like everybody agrees on that, but like
you're a freaking idiot.
You're a businessman. You have like it's a business. Okay, you got to just people will understand. You don't have to be like so nice that you just like, well, we'll just let you ride it out. Man. Like you're still gonna pay the dude. Like dude's under contract. He's still gonna get a boatload of money. Like just be like, hey, look.
He's not just a businessman though. He's the mom and pop shop businessman.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because you totally perpetuate. Because look, Luke began this part of the conversation asking if we were sure if he was going to get fired. I mean, we were sure he should have gotten fired weeks ago. It's another debacle, and we're like, okay, what's going to be? I wake up Friday, I'm like, okay, if he goes on the press conference, that means they're probably not going to fire him. He goes on the press like. It's hard to even
see. I knew that wasn't it though. Because I texted. I knew how dumb the Bears were. I texted you guys that day, and I said, remember when Matt Patricia got fired by the Lions on Saturday? It's just like these bad organizations do this shit all the time.
I think because I texted back. I texted like right after that. So like we woke like that morning. Reporters were like, "Oh, the link hasn't."
We don't know where
the
link.
Yet. Yeah, we don't have the link yet for the Zoom meeting for the the Eberflus interview that usually happens every after game day. And then Courtney Cronin, I think, was the first one I saw. It was like, "Oh, the link's been sent." It's like, okay, well, that sucks. And I think that's when I texted you guys, and Luke's like, "Well, the Lions fired Patricia the Saturday after Thanksgiving." I was like, "Okay, well, that doesn't mean that we're gonna do that." And I mean, 9 minutes, and like again, whatever.
It's hard to feel good about the decision to fire him based on the process. Even the process was horrible. Like it was a terrible process. It's just ridiculous. You embarrass yourselves by making the man go answer questions. What if he went rogue? Like, hey, they might be meeting right now to fire him. You know, like
that would be awesome.
That would have been so great. Like if he was like, you know, it all starts with me, but I know that those three are meeting right now, and my ass is on the line.
Or if he went up there and said, "Hey, I just got a contract extension."
Oh my God! Or if he went in there and was like, "Hey, listen, I'm just gonna beat him to the punch. I quit. I'm out." This is the last you'll hear from Matt Eberflus.
I'm just thinking about it from a media standpoint, you know, because what I worked with covering Alabama, if I were covering a coach's press conference after a game and you write, "Oh, coach says XYZ was the reason for loss," or coach doubles down on decision, or whatever the case may be, whatever you're writing, and you've hit send, and the next like 5 minutes you get a memo that says that he got fired. And she's like, "Oh shit, my day just got more complicated." I don't understand why they didn't why McCaskey and the Bear, like why George and Kevin Warren didn't just tell the media, "Hey, we might be having a press conference, we might not. We're having we're at least
because George is an idiot, and he would be like, they'll know we're gonna fire this guy."
Who
that's
gives literally, a shit?
I guarantee you, that's what it was. He was
who gives a shit?
Would know,
but they're not like that's the thing with like George. Like there's all things are. It's truly a wild card. You can't say that you know for sure that they're going to fire him. If
exactly.
Like, hey, we're just going to delay it like an hour because we're having a quick conversation about it. Which to me, that's just stupid to have. Like again, it should have never got to Friday morning. You should have known going to bed Thursday night
after the game,
full of tryptophan. Like an hour and a half. Joe, when that clock was at 34 seconds, I knew like that was it. That was it.
Oh, yeah.
Like you weren't doing anything. Like and again, like it got down to like 15 seconds before they even snapped the ball. Actually, it got lower than that because there was only like 4 seconds of that play, and then Caleb just like what was gonna like you were just like counting on a Hail Mary. Like,
yeah, he was trying to hit it. He was trying to hit a bomb shot right there. That was it.
Well, he was like Caleb had no choice but to go for the goal at that point. But like. If they snap it 3-4 seconds earlier than that, and they complete something, and then you can use your timeout. But why let it wait that long? Like, oh my God,
the process is just so flawed. And so when you see that happen, Chris, exactly like you said. Like, whether you want to deal with the problem or not, George and Miss Virginia, I know you're watching the game. You got to make it, Miss Virginia has to say when it hits zeros and it's another instance, and then she gets a report, because I'm sure she's got birdies in the locker room that the players are going crazy at the coach. She's just got to make the call right there. Just say, Georgie,
I want to buy a Jalen Johnson jersey after that.
Georgie, son, it's time. I think
Kevin Warren was in the locker room. You knew then, dude. If you hired this guy to be really more than just a different version of Ted Phillips, then you should have just pulled Kevin. You should have just pulled Ryan Poles aside and said, "Cool, you got the green light, go for it." Because according to the Bears blog, what's that guy's name? Jeff Hughes. According to that dude, Poles has been pushing for Eberflus to be fired for weeks. Which
I don't know about that. I don't know how much of that is true. Do you believe it?
Well, dude, we've.
Do you think that there's another way out of what aligns with him saving his job?
Exactly. That's why I think that the spin zone. Oh man, because I saw even a tweet today. Ryan Poles wanted to fire Matt Eberflus at the end of last year. Like, maybe, but it just sounds good to say. We heard the Patriots game. We heard I've heard 3 different timelines now. I've heard he wanted to fire him after the Patriots game.
But Joe, this is the one true timeline that we know for a fact, though. The Bears did interviews with Matt Eberflus before Poles was hired. Poles was hired, and they hired Eberflus 2 days later after this extensive search. We can spin it however we want. We know that for a fact. Poles can say what he wants. He can lie for McCaskey. It doesn't look good. It looks like they told him to hire him.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I've been down on Poles because he had his chances to denounce Matt Eberflus, but really, truthfully, if his hands are tied that much, ain't happening.
What's it like if he's like? What's he gonna do? Denounce him without firing him? How
exactly, Chris? Exactly.
Look?
So
you know what I mean?
It's just like I don't know, but what we did find out this week is that Kevin Warren does have a fucking pulse. He has a ball sack. It looks like he's doing something.
Luke, to further that, okay, the ball sack and the pulse has fired Matt Eberflus. Will Ryan Poles have the autonomy? Will Kevin Warren? Will they have the autonomy to hire whoever the hell they want to, or will we be hiring
Kevin Warren? Will have that decision.
Who just says yes, ma'am, to Miss Virginia?
So Warren said that Poles has final say, even though he didn't think it would be that. Cut and dry, like it wouldn't come down to that. Like it would be a concerted effort, and like it's going to be the 3 of them because fucking George has got his dip his dick in it because he's an idiot. But if those two essentially would be the like. What I didn't like is that they didn't say, like they asked him basically like, are you going to hire a search firm or any kind of consultants? And Poles like, oh, we haven't decided that yet. That's a fucking no. That's a no. We got this. That's a no. Like, if you're, dude, fuck no. I'd be like, fuck no. It's me and Kevin. We're going to find our dude. We're going to find a leader of men that's going to come out. Like, nobody's more decisive and like, this is what we're doing than Thomas Brown in that press conference on whatever day it was, Friday, Saturday, whatever day. Nobody was like, this is the 3 things we're gonna do. We're gonna freaking play with violence. We're gonna come together. We're gonna unify, and we're gonna like cut all the division out, and we're gonna kick some fucking ass. And those 2 were like, like they asked Poles, what was your when did you know it was where it went wrong with Shane Waldron? He was like, that's a tough one. That's a good question. Like, dude, what? You had no answers for this. It was embarrassing.
That interview is hilarious. Kevin Warren's in there in a suit. Ryan Poles is like a kid in the back seat in the car seat, just mad that his dad yelled at him in his stupid
wearing his
wetsuit.
Historic Bears.
Had no answers.
That pullover was lit though. I would wear that.
That was
a press conference.
That was a clear message to me though that this is Kevin Warren's show now, and Ryan Poles is not going to be fucking around with this shit anymore. Which listen, I am happy that all these guys are getting their ass kicked by the media, in front of the media. They look embarrassed and shit. They deserve this. They full on deserve all of it. Ryan Poles looked like he wanted to freaking cry up there, and I thought that was hilarious.
I want to cry. I want to cry that this continues to be the team that I root for.
Well, let me ask you this. If Kevin Warren has as much power as it looked like he had in that interview, and it's really his final say in his coaching search that Ryan Poles is just assisting him on, do you feel better or worse about that?
Indifferent. I have no idea what, at least we know it's the devil you know versus the devil you don't. We know what Ryan Poles is in terms of like talent evaluation, and like if he really like that. The problem is like Lucas, what you kind of alluded to was, did he really get to choose Matt Eberflus, or was he like forced upon him, which like a John Fox and Ryan Pace situation? Like it's just embarrassing. Like these idiots think that they're really doing these GMs a favor. Like, oh, Ryan Pace, I know it's your first time GM. Let us just, get you a John Fox who just lost the Super Bowl, got immediately replaced with a guy that won the Super Bowl right after that. Like, we'll get you that guy. And, let's not hire Bruce Arians. Let's hire freaking Mark Trestman or Phil Emmer. Like, all of these, like, the cute shit. Like, they get cute from the top down. Top-down cuteness. It's just adorable.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, look, Ryan Poles makes the decision. Kevin Warren makes the decision. George McCaskey makes the decision. Your mama makes the decision. It doesn't matter. I have no faith in them getting it right. I mean, I'm sure that whoever they hire, I'll sucker myself into believing in for about 5 minutes. But then after I see the team play for 3 or 4 games and looking at, they'll be like, yep, same old Bears.
If you could have any one coach in the world, Joe Gaither, who would it be?
Like living or dead or what?
No, like alive and under 75, because we know Belichick's like 71.
Any one coach in the world?
Yep.
I've got 3 in my head, and I'm taking Sean McVay because of the 3 in my head. I think he'd be the most likely to look at Miss Virginia and say, no, this is what you brought me in for. I'm going to do it this way, and you need to just go back upstairs and order your drinks and just watch my offense cook. I'm picking Sean McVay out of the 3 coaches.
I think McVay would be charming about it. I don't think he'd be an asshole.
No, exactly. Yes, exactly. I think he would be charming about it, but my point being, he would have the nuts to say no.
Yeah.
He'd have the nuts to do it his own way. He'd have the nuts to say, with separation from ownership and football, and I really trust his football. My other 2 picks were either Matt LaFleur or Kyle Shanahan, but I
was going to pick LaFleur.
LaFleur was like my number 1 in my head, but I don't know how would he just cower to Miss McCaskey, or would he say, "Oh no"? Because I think he's an incredible coach. I think he's number 1 in the league, number 2 in the league. I mean, he's amazing.
Yeah, I'd be on McVay as well. That would be my choice, which kind of makes me feel like, I mean, I've been going back and forth with a guy on Twitter about, what they should do. And like, I really hope Thomas Brown figures it out, because he was 1 step away from McVay. He was his assistant head coach. He got the job. He earned the job. It wasn't just to keep him, which was one of the things that Hogan John said was they gave him the assistant head coaching job to keep him so Michael, one of the guys, anyway, somebody didn't take him with him. But that timeline didn't add up according to John's. So, I mean, I think I would go with McVay, probably Shanahan after that, only because there's a weird possibility that he gets let go and they reset everything, which I don't think happens.
Do it.
But dude, Joe, we're not getting like that. That's the Bears way. They have like a Bruce Arians in front of them, and they're like, there's a dorky guy from Canada that would look really good in blue and orange.
It'll be Shanahan. It'd be Kyle Shanahan sitting there looking for a job. Like, I'd love to work with Caleb Williams.
We'll be like, Jim Harbaugh has this, this guy on his staff that's an offensive genius. He came from Canada too. He made Rich Gannon look really good back in the day. Let's hire him. Geno Trestman's on the Chargers staff.
I saw a photo of him the other day.
Do you still look like the Crypt Keeper?
I do feel like this all ends up with us. Yeah. I feel like this ends up with us just getting Ben Johnson because I feel like they're going to do everything possible to just take the obvious choice of coach. And I'll tell you, at the end of the day, I'm okay with it. If they swing and miss on the hottest coaching candidate and it doesn't work, so be it. At least they made the obvious choice. I know you're on Thomas Brown, Chris. My gut inside tells me they are going to try and course correct this so hard that maybe they pay a little extra money and they just take the obvious coach.
I think if they try to course correct so hard, they'll go for like a Belichick, and that's where Kevin Warren makes the biggest.
They could, swing. But you think he's publicly bashed Caleb a ton. Like,
so what? So what? I mean, you think he's not going to take it? It's his job.
It's not a matter of that. I think. Yeah, but you also, when all that stuff's out there, I don't think they would put Caleb in that kind of situation, especially if they're trying to make this hire about Caleb.
That's fair.
I think that, Luke, your assessment on Ben Johnson, like, I hope you're right. I hope you're right. I hope you're right that they do just –
like, I feel like they're at the boiling point where they're just going to take the obvious choice or try their hardest.
And he sucks ass. Yeah, if they do and he sucks ass, then okay. But I hope you're right. What I think is probably more likely is that they hire Bill Belichick and he's over the hill and he's lost his touch and it just like is a.
Yeah, I think Vrabel's the most real defensive candidate for the head coach over Belichick.
I think Vrabel's a really viable option as well. Yeah,
and think about it. If the Giants fire Daboll, that's a shoo-in job for Belichick, man. He loves the fucking Giants and their history. Like, that's a match made in heaven for him to go there.
Wasn't he like
part GM
under Parcells? He coached under Bill Parcells there too, right?
Yeah.
That's a yeah.
And plus it's like a perfect. That's like a dream job for him, dude. That's like.
Or you could just go work for the Raiders.
Now I think they'll probably.
Under Brady.
That would be hilarious.
It would be hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
No, I think unless there's a job opening that is like a jaw-dropping job opening that's like the Bills fire McDermott or something, I think the Bears will have probably one of the more attractive jobs for Ben Johnson in regards to quarterback offense, whole 9 yards. So, who do you guys think is on the who's on your top 5 list for the Bears to hire? Joe, like who do you think will be on their top 5, and who do you have on your own top 5?
Oh man, I don't think I thought that well through it. Yeah, I have no idea. Hold on.
I have my personal one. I
go ahead. Yeah.
My personal one, if I was the Bears and I had 5 choices to interview, I would bring in Well, I would totally talk to Thomas Brown more, regardless of what happens here. I think he's
Is
earned
that going to count as one of the 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ben Johnson, certainly. A name that I don't think a lot of people are talking about that I think is a solid name that should be brought up is Todd Monken.
Fair.
I like his resume. He's had an extensive coaching resume, and he's 60 years old, but he coaches like he's 30. His offense is pretty innovative. I would bring in Brian Flores. I know people hate him, but I love that dude, and I think he deserves another chance, and I think he is a very good head coach. And then I probably bring in Vrabel as well.
So I go Brown, Johnson, Liam Cohen, Vrabel, and I have no interest in Belichick, only because he's 71. I think that there's something to be said about being older. Flores and Tua was just an ugly situation. I don't like that. I don't like what he could do to Caleb.
I mean, I'm assuming he would learn a little bit from that whole thing, but when it comes to attitude and how he your team embodies how you play, how you call plays, and that dude calls plays like he's gonna get shot in the head if his team doesn't win, and that's what I want my coach. I want my coach to go out there. Fuck yeah, we're going for it on 4th down. We're throwing bombs. We're running up the score. We're blitzing the shit out of you. Like, it's an attitude. It's an attitude you need, and whether he said it to his face or not, everyone else is thinking about how bad Tua was originally. So it is what it is. You can't say that shit.
Didn't do it. He didn't do the right thing to fix it, and Mike McDaniel unlocked Tua fine.
I don't hate Brian Flores as a candidate. I don't hate Brian Flores as a candidate. I do think that you have kind of that edge. I don't love it.
Yeah, but I think Thomas Brown has the same edge.
Sure.
Just from a different aspect. Like he understands how violent the game is. You know, Brian Flores just seems like he wants to hurt you, like be damaging. Like he's Greg Williams.
It's all them Belichick dudes, but I love it.
I would not be excited about Bill Belichick. The Bears franchise would sell it really hard. It's a huge win. But I would not be very excited about Bill.
I don't think anyone would.
I'd be excited about Ben Johnson. I think an option that they that they might go. I think a way they might go is they might say, "Oh, you guys wanted Ben Johnson. Well, let me give you Ben Johnson light in Cliff Kingsbury."
No.
And they'll sell it. He worked with Caleb Williams.
That's another one, dude. It's like along the lines of Belichick, I don't think can really come back from what he said about Caleb. I don't think Cliff Kingsbury can come back from being denied the offensive court. Like, you denied to do the job as offensive coordinator, you're going to hire him the next year as head coach? No effing way.
Hell yeah.
No way. If I was Kingsbury, I'd be like, I'm not even interviewing with you. Go pound sand.
No way. Same. I'm with Lucas. That ship has sailed.
You can't do that. You can't go back to that well. There's no shot.
I'm just saying, it's a dark horse.
I don't think it's a dark horse because you can draw the connections, but I don't think for Kingsbury's own self-worth, he would want to put himself in that situation. And 2, if you're Ryan Poles, what are you going to sit there with your thumb up your ass and be like, I hired Shane Waldron over you last year?
Exactly.
That could easily be blamed on Eberflus.
Right. If you're Cliff Kingsbury, of course you consider it because
I'm just saying it's a crazy situation.
I think it comes down to Ben Johnson and Thomas Brown.
BJ.
Like the question is going to be for Thomas Brown is what does it look like for him running a staff? He said he's going to be pretty hands off on the defense and let them do their thing. He's obviously going to be involved with like overall strategy, but like day in and day out, just he's going to let Eric Washington do his thing, call the plays, so on and so forth. It was interesting that they made the wide receivers coach the OC and not Kerry Joseph. So can he do the job right over the next 5 weeks, which is good. It'll give us a good look as to how he's going to run things. How is he going to do challenges? What do penalties look like? What does time management, clock management, or timeout management, all that stuff look like? Like freaking Eberflus was allergic to using first half timeouts. Like, why?
Who was the worst challenger, Matt Eberflus or John Fox?
The only problem with John Fox's challenge is the one stupid ass touchdown or touchback that he like. That's the only one that sticks out. But overall, Eberflus was just
horrible,
awful. Like the worst challenger on the planet. I can't like you. Like, how do you not have your guys upstairs being like, no, don't do it. Don't bother. This is like, if we can watch it on TV, my TV's like hella behind. They're live in the game. Like, no, bro, don't do it. Don't challenge this. This is not going to work. Or like was it like a second down and DeAndre Swift clearly got a first. Okay, I can't remember what game that was. It was like 2-3 games ago. Clearly got a first. And he didn't challenge it, and then they didn't get it the next 2 plays. The 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, they couldn't get the freaking first. And I'm like, dude, if you would have just challenged the 2nd and 1 or 3rd and 1, you would have probably gotten a first down out of it. He had a first. Much. He was so bad. And then for Ben Johnson, we don't know we don't know enough. We don't know how he would be as – the quote unquote leader of men that they're looking for. Lucas, I don't know if you had any stories to back up what you were saying, like he's not like a yeller, he's not like very, I don't know anything about his personality. Do you have any insight there, friend?
No, not really. I've just watched some of his press conferences, and the way he talks about things is very intelligently, but no, you're right. It's hard to tell when guys are, they have a great unit on a great team. Obviously, Dan Campbell's like their fearless leader, and Ben Johnson's just a part of that. But basically going on 2 years running where they have one of the best offenses in the league. I don't know. I mean, even some of the shit he was throwing out there versus the Bears was crazy. Like,
yeah, but in the second half, they got nothing.
They did.
Nothing.
I mean, for whatever shit we'll give Eberflus, I will say that man could make second half adjustments. I don't know. Like you said, Chris, it's like devil you know versus devil you don't. At the end of all this, though, I almost feel like part of me feels like Thomas Brown just being a part of this staff is almost a bad thing for him, and I think he's auditioning for a job elsewhere. That's just like my gut feeling about it. Sucks. It's not really fair. I don't know.
So, I mean, Ben Johnson's been in Detroit for a while and just kind of worked his way up. Like, is it his offense or?
Yeah, that's fully his offense.
Okay.
And I do think, obviously, the Bears don't have the line Detroit has, but I think if you bring in a guy like Ben Johnson, part of what he's going to want or have a heavy influence on is being most likely like, yeah, get me a line like I had there. Get me some of these guys that can do this shit.
Oh, man, prioritizing the offensive line?
I would like to think he would do that, but you never know with these guys.
Oh, I would love it.
Well, Brian Flores went to college with Brian Poles, so.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that until you said that. That means Flores went to BC? Doesn't seem like a BC kind of guy.
Nah. Reminds me of like a South Florida player.
I was going to say he's a Miami dude. Like, that is 100%.
So,
Florida.
what do you think about the Bears winning these last handful of games here? Going 1, 2,
Bears
3.
are beating the 49ers. Lock. The interim bump is a real thing. And that's one of my
Here's the biggest problem with that.
concerns.
There's another like trend that heavily weighs against them, and that's going after playing the Lions, teams are like 0-10 against the spread because they just get beat up.
Because the
What about if
Lions
they have
are
longer
so
rest?
good.
That's a good question. I don't know where that plays into
What
the.
about if they have longer rest, though?
I just said I don't know. That's a good question. Am I delayed?
I heard you.
I said that's a good question, Lucas.
A
I don't
little
know.
bit.
That's you, bro. You're jumpy.
I'm delayed now.
Yep.
I'm delayed.
Underlay.
Frozen.
DJ Uyunga Gungule. We'll see.
I'll tell you
think
this.
The Niners are in just turmoil, man. They can't get right. And now,
Dude, that's what I'm.
now-
This is like
So
the
they fired
perfect storm. This is the perfect storm for the Bears to walk in as underdogs and win. It just feels, to me, it feels inevitable that they're going to beat this team that is with the interim coach on a longer week. They're going to be fired up. They will beat the Niners.
Hell yeah.
So, side story: Thomas Brown beats the brakes off the Niners. It's the turning point and gets Kyle Shanahan fired. Now,
Yes.
Thomas Brown doesn't get the job, but Shanahan gets it.
Yes.
Uh,
Praise the Lord. We set our own destinies this week.
who can build a staff is a good question too, which I think Thomas Brown have been around the block, man.
Horrible.
All I know is Kyle Shanahan can build a staff.
Well, that's a fact. I'm talking about like of the guys that are actually available. Who could build a staff?
We're just going to Greg Braggs it into existence.
Yeah, he keeps saying that, right? That's his thing. He's a Niners fan, so that they'll lose.
Wow.
I don't like. Is it John Lynch is still the GM there, right? He would
Yeah.
have to get. Like, I don't think they're going to do a full reset, which has been one of the. That was the rumor tossed around is that they could do a full reset, but I don't know. That's hard. It would kind of be an Andy Reid situation, though. You know,
Well,
just going to the Super Bowl a lot and not winning, and then going to Chicago, getting your quarterback. Because like Shanahan's never really had a stud quarterback. He's just made it work with some
bullshit.
GG.
some bullshit. Yeah. Like if he would have went with
I don't even think Brock Purdy's that good.
no, that's what I'm saying. I'm 100% agreeing with you. Like if Trey Lance would have worked out, or if he would have, I wonder if he would have drafted Justin Fields, what that would have looked like. Is there a better quarterback after in that draft? Like I can't even think. Like Zach Wilson was terrible. Mac Jones, Justin Fields. Was there anybody after them?
Lawrence was before.
Wasn't there a second round? Where was Will Levis in that draft or after that?
No, he's in the next draft, right?
I don't know. I can't think.
And then there was
So,
this
yeah,
draft where every quarterback taken looks incredible.
For sure.
So happy with watching college football this as it closes down this year. Thinking to yourself, "Wow, I'm so glad we don't need a quarterback because these quarterbacks in this class look like booty cheeks.
Dog doo-doo. Shedeur Sanders is the truth. Nope.
They look awful.
He's not good.
They all look awful.
Yeah. Closes down. Shit, man. Aren't they going to be in the playoffs until like March?
Well, the regular season ended this past Saturday.
Yeah. Notre Dame beat the brakes off USC.
Hail to Notre Dame.
Still can't believe they lost to NIU. Doesn't really matter though, because everybody and their mom has like 2 to 3 losses except for Oregon.
Marcus Freeman, ex-Bears coach.
No,
Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman going to come.
When you said that, I was like, who? Like I was like, just like, why would that name even come up?
It's been coming up a
I
lot.
thought you were teasing us.
I was teasing in that, like
And the sense that he shouldn't be a candidate?
Like, yeah. Like, why? Like, he's 39-30 at Notre Dame and still trying to build that program. Why would they do that? Like, why wouldn't you go out like the Oregon coach? Or
Dan Lanning,
or
I was watching the clip of him talking to his locker room, and he was playing the clip of Inglourious Bastards where the dude walks out with the bat. I was like, that's so sick.
He is a great dude.
He's talking about smashing the opponent's head in.
We do not want Ryan Day though, no matter what.
no opinion. It's too hard to go from college to the pros.
Yeah, I would rather not take any college coach, to be perfectly honest. If I had my way. But I do not. George McCaskey's not going to ask me. All right, so
This Wi-Fi is horrible.
Chris, Lucas is crashing out. What do we think about this 49ers game?
I think it's going to be close. Like I think, like Lucas said, it's a recipe for the Bears to potentially have an upset. Is it in Chicago or is it's not, right? It's not
in Chicago. The Bears are a 4.5-point underdog. The over/under is 43. 3:30 on Sunday, December the 8th.
I thought it's 4.5 now. It's down to 4 on some books. It was at 5.5 like 2 days ago. It's at 3.5 on BetMGM, dude. That's nuts.
Wow.
Yeah, that's dropped like a rock, dude, because it was at 5, I feel like, earlier in the week. 5.5, I think is what. I don't know if that's like, let me check if that's like the regular opening or the freaking one from.
Since it's only Tuesday, no injury report has been filed, but they did put Christian McCaffrey on IR after his terrible injury. Unfortunate for them. Very unfortunate. We don't want that for anybody on any team. Jordan Mason, I think, is also a little dinged up, is what it seems like.
Yeah, they're going to put him on IR too.
Wow.
It's going to be some kid named Garendo or Grando or something.
Nick Bosa did not play last week. Aaron Banks didn't play last week. Drake Greenlaw didn't play last week. All right. That's kind of what I'm seeing out of their injury situation. Fuck you. I'll take the Bears. Thomas Brown. I'll ride with you. I'll show my blind support. Every first time Bears coach, every time a new coach happens, I always have blind support until they piss me off. And so, Thomas Brown, welcome to your honeymoon period. 1-0. Bears.
Yeah, so
8.
As of like the 26th, which was probably your opening line.
Okay.
It was -6.
Woof.
Yeah.
So we're flipping down.
It got up to 6.5 as late as 2 days ago. And now it's all the way down to 3.5.
28.
That's a 3-point line movement in a matter of 2 days. That's fucking nuts, dude.
What do they know?
They know that, well, that's after the McCaffrey injury, after the Mason injury. So, plus no Ayuk. All they have is Deebo Samuel, and Deebo's looked atrocious in the second half of the year. Bears could very well win this game.
28-21 Bears is my gut feeling.
28-21 Bears. Is Bosa playing, man? I don't know about that either.
He did not play last week.
They still got a good defense. Well, if he doesn't play, then it's definitely, I don't know about 28. I'm going to go with the classic. 24-17 Bears.
Okay, so let me throw this at you as Luke reconnects, and we'll get his connect. We'll get his.
We're gonna have to give Luke the dial-in number.
That's right. At the end of the game, I had a conversation. The end of this past week's game with the Lions, I had a conversation with a bunch of non-Bears fans who were watching the game.
Mm-hmm.
And after I got done laughing, I said, "This was perfect. You got the result that showed that the coach absolutely fucked it up at the end, but Caleb showed that he had sauce for the umpteenth week in a row." And I got from a bunch of non-Bears fans, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know that Caleb did show. I don't know that Caleb did show that he had. He wasn't that saucy to me," that sort of thing. And I know the first half was really bad, but you ended the day 20 of 39, 256, and 3 touchdowns. Took 5 sacks, not good. I thought that he showed that he had some sauce. Krogman?
He's had 3 games under Thomas Brown now. Somebody extrapolated those numbers out, and they were ridiculous. It was like 4,300 yards, 38 touchdowns, and like 4 picks, something crazy. Like maybe even 0 picks, because I don't think he's thrown a pick yet since Thomas Brown took over. I thought he looked great. Like the first half was not good. Second half was phenomenal. So, I mean, he clutches up. He's like one of the best quarterbacks in the fourth quarter in football.
Hasn't thrown an interception since October 13th against the Jaguars.
I think he broke the rookie record for attempts without a pick.
And they've lost all these games.
Yeah, I think it was like 220 something. I think he probably shattered that.
He's lost all those games without throwing a pick. Lucas, can you hear us? No. Well, Luke will text us in his pick. He's taking the Bears. You heard him earlier. He was adamant about taking the Bears against the 49ers. So does that make us 3 in a row? Or all 3 of us all together? Clean sweep? Oh, yeah.
Sweep it up, Joe.
Chris, any other Bears comments? Because I thought he did look saucy. And that was really the only other thought that I had this week. I was on the golf course. I was with my family on Friday after and laughing. It was about 10 o'clock Central Time, laughing that, they're putting Eberflus on, so they're not firing. Okay, Dad, we can go to the golf course. We go to the golf course, and we're out there 3, 4, 5 holes in, and it gets to a slow point. So I'm reaching in the golf court in the cart, and I got 150,000 text messages. And it's just like, I thought, oh my God, what clowns! They put his ass on the press conference, only to turn around and fire him an hour later.
Yeah, less than shocked. Well, Joe.
Well, they didn't win, so no song for them. They gotta go get it against Green Bay. You want to leave them with a thought, Chris Krogman? Follow Chris Krogman at Shy Bears 1985. Follow Lucas Berry. We love you, Lucas. Good night, Lucas. At LBerry_40. You can follow me at Joe Gaither 6. But find us each and every week, the Believe in Monsters podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon.
And follow the Believe Network at Believe Network. BLEAV. And we will talk next week after the Bears' dominant victory over the Niners. Good night and good luck.